Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom with a heavy heart.
And with a heavy heart, they have to do the whole thing all over again.
You don't want to look back with a heavy heart full of regret, wishing that you spent more time truly connected to them, heart to heart, rather than being connected to your phone. Because here's the truth, and yes, it's a tweetable.
There were moments that I felt love with a heavy heart, and even, and a lot of fear. And through the infant massage, I found that it was a transforming and healing experience.
A very sad feeling, in a state of grief.
It is with a heavy heart that we announce the passing of our beloved father.
After these tragedies, our nation will forge on, but with a heavy heart.
We left our summer cottage on the last day with a heavy heart.
A heavy heart.
Имеет значение в печальном или несчастном состоянии, с грузом на сердце. В сочетании со словом
with
имеет значение с грустью и сожалением.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom babe in the woods.
Oh, it's beyond me too, actually. I'm a babe in the woods.
He might push back the tag,
exactly.
But he don't send back the benefits.
No,
that's low key. That's what we said earlier.
He's not a babe in the woods, and he also knows that him being white and like sort of dabbling, doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, because he's white and because he's able to sort of be.
But in any event, I'd had enough experience in psychological testing and so forth, so that I was not a total babe in the woods.
Somebody who lacks experience of life or knowledge and who is too willing to trust other people, or who is involved in a difficult situation that they do not understand. You are a babe in the woods. You just don't have any idea of what the police will do when the going gets tough.
By this time I wasn't such a babe in the woods, and one thing I insisted on was that they commit themselves contractual to a 10-week promotional tour.
The average age at any of these events is likely to be 70, so depending on your vintage, you'll either be among your peers, or a babe in the woods.
Человек, который доверчив, наивен или которому не хватает опыта в конкретной ситуации.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom cool as a cucumber.
My late Boston Terrier, Bobo, was trained to channel his jazzed-up energy into a chew toy. When he got overwhelmed and kind of hyper, he was trained to find a bone and tear into it for 5 minutes or so. After that, he was as cool as a cucumber. I would like for Olive to pick up this habit as well.
You're faced with a super stressful situation. How do you deal with it? I stay as positive as I can, have a total breakdown, cool as a cucumber. I become a total and lash out at everyone that comes near me. My attitude stays the same. Psh, stress is no biggie.
All of these guys are extremely upset, okay? I'm over here, cool as a cucumber, holding my turd, rational, reasonable, calm.
Wow, you are calm.
To be very calm and relax, especially in a difficult or frustrating situation or in times of stress.
I expected him to be all nervous before the interview, but he was as cool as a cucumber.
George is cool as a cucumber, and this should be just another operation for him.
This morning they were all back on their jobs, the Chinese cook and all. There they were, as cool as cucumbers. You would have thought they owned the place.
Шутливое обозначение совершенно невозмутимого, спокойного состояния, при котором человек не теряет хладнокровия.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom catch some Z's.
As you can see, there's more than enough room for you to get in here and get comfortable and catch some Z's. You guys excuse me, I'm gonna catch a nap real quick.
And of course, there's often a king-size bed or two for the bus's owners, or of course VIP guests, to catch some Z's before the big game or gig.
While you catch some Z's, your body conserves energy, stores new information, and even gets rid of toxic waste.
To get some sleep.
Lizzie decided to catch some Zeds before starting the work she would have to do later that day.
We've got a pretty long layover before our next flight, so I'm going to try to catch some Z's at the gate.
Jeff's upstairs catching some ZS. It's been a hard week for him.
Идиома относится к американскому английскому языку. Носители американского английского произносят ее
catch some Z's,
а носители британского и австралийского английского
catch some Z's.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom fork in the road.
You got a fork in the road. Do you go left? Do you go right? You go right.
Besides, once the first drivers explained to their confused car that the giant chicken at the fork in the road is actually a restaurant and it's okay to keep driving.
And after not one, but two suicide attempts, I had reached a fork in the road. I knew that I was either going to die of anorexia or I was going to have to choose to live.
Literally, the point at which one road splits or separates off into other roads. By extension, the point at which one must make a decision between two or more drastically different choices or opportunities.
Okay, keep going straight until you reach the fork in the road, then turn right.
After college, I was at a real fork in the road. Should I try to find work right away, or should I go back to school to pursue a master's degree?
Well, here we go again, another fork in the road.
Идиома имеет прямое и переносное значение. В прямом смысле она означает дорожную развилку. В переносном смысле – ситуацию, в которой можно выбрать один вариант из нескольких, причем выбор одного варианта автоматически подразумевает отказ от всех остальных.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom under a cloud.
Father was a doctor, and I think he had problems, among them a drinking problem. He left Paisley under a cloud, and somehow they came to Lakefield.
Another Democratic president, Barack Obama, said in a speech, "No American should ever live under a cloud of suspicion just because of what they look like." The singular they error.
In any case, he died under a cloud of guilt.
If somebody is under a cloud, other people think that they have done something wrong and do not trust them.
The hotel business is under a cloud at the moment after newspapers revealed that many tourists were being systematically overcharged.
Mike said that people thought he had done something wrong, even though he didn't. He found it hard to interact with them under that cloud.
As a result, the child becomes a nervous wreck, living under a cloud of fear.
В общей лексике идиома имеет значение «в немилости», «в опале», «в тяжелом положении», «под подозрением», «покрытый позором». В сленге идиома означает «в плохом настроении».
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom go bananas.
Sometimes when I'm bored, I think I might just go bananas. This person kind of did just that, but they also created a detailed Minions portrait on the outside of this banana.
My dogs go bananas for, well, bananas, as well as carrots and broccoli. What a cost-effective solution that is.
Of course, geographers are going to make mistakes because we're curious, imperfect, wonderful humans. And there will be so many more moments where we go bananas and realize that what we thought was just a cool fact actually has a huge backstory.
Go bananas means to visibly become either excited or angry about something in an exuberant manner.
The British press has gone bananas, proclaiming the end of civilization as we know it.
She'll go bananas if she sees the house in this dirty condition. Tony went bananas over the presents that his parents got him for Christmas.
Идиома выражает либо чрезмерную восторженность, увлечение, переполнение энтузиазмом из-за восхищения чем-либо, либо лишение рассудка, потерю самоконтроля из-за злости или расстройства. Это сленговые выражения, которые употребляются только при неформальном общении.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom go nuts.
Sorrel is a salad green that's perennial, and it tastes just like lemonade. Even the salad haters that come to the grow house try it and go nuts for it.
Creativity comes from exploring and from being curious. Doing what we could do and not what we should do. We're all eager to throw caution to the wind and go nuts with our imagination when we're kids, but somewhere along the line, this adult state of mind comes into play, where we don't believe in ourselves to go against the grain.
And so the antidote to anyone stealing your ideas or your idea dying, for that matter, is to get the word out. And so I would say if you want to be known and associated for something, go nuts with blogging, with content creation, being out there touting it so that your name is almost inextricably entwined with it.
Go nuts means to become crazy, enthusiastic, or violent in behavior. It is usually used in reference to someone who gets extremely excited over something or becomes extremely angry.
I'll end up going nuts if I have to work in this cubicle for one more day.
The audience went nuts when the special guest took the stage.
The passengers went nuts when they realized that their plane would be delayed by 5 hours.
Сленговое выражение, которое используется в разговорной речи и обозначает потерю самообладания из-за испытываемых эмоций, гнева, радости или грусти. Прилагательное «нац» имеет значение чокнутый.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom a plum job.
She stayed at Stirling Castle and Linlithgow Palace. He visited Drummond Castle. He gave her dad a plum job at court.
The tradition was that consuls were rewarded with a plum job in the provinces after their year in office, with plenty of opportunities for making money.
The Catholic Church needed male singers who could reach a certain high pitch, and testosterone wasn't helpful with that. So while the church didn't castrate anyone personally for the job, being a castrato could get you a plum job in the Vatican's choir.
An easy, pleasant job that also pays well.
I got a plum job managing a toy store, so I get to sit around playing with toys all day.
Since Sarah got that plum job with the bank, she has been driving a sports car and is buying a second home.
My body just can't do all this manual labor anymore, so I've set my sights on one of those plum jobs in the office.
Данной идиомой называют должность, которая хорошо оплачивается и считается относительно легкой.
Define the Russian equivalent of the English idiom the apple of one's eye.
And if I say, you are the apple of my eye, you know how special you are in my sight. In other words, metaphors cleanse the lens of perception and give us a fresh take on reality. In other words.
Oh, this person, the apple of my eye.
She was the apple of her father's eye, King George III, who she co-ruled with until his death in 1184 AD.
A person or thing that is loved more than any other. If someone is the apple of your eye, you think they are very important to you, and you love them very much. This idiom is used especially when someone is loved by an older member of their family.
My nephew is just the apple of my eye.
He has 5 kids, but his only daughter is clearly the apple of his eye.
The two-party system is the apple of capitalists' eye, so far as maintaining their political control of the workers is concerned.
Что-либо очень дорогое или важное для говорящего.
To be the apple of one's eye.
Часто имеет значение быть любимым кем-то, чаще всего старшим родственником, и переводится «души не чаять».